welcome to another video. I'm the Autistic Artist, and today I will finally update you on uni stuff, med school stuff. There will be an update about my assistant's dog too. She's chilling around here, and my two cats are making a mess of my background. Yes. Amazing. Okay, so I know it's been a while. Altogether, I had a lot to do and I wasn't able to really film stuff. Maybe also because I decided to store my stuff a little bit tighter and it took more time to reassemble it, and maybe this. So yeah, I know it's been a while. There was a lot to do. I know I see it all the time, but med school isn't that easy. Obviously. Basically, since we last talked, it was like around Christmas, and now it's the end of December. I tried my best to film, but I wasn't able to set the stuff up and actually do it. So let's start off around year 3-ish. Just to give you a bigger picture, med school consists of 6 years here. There are 3 different stages. Stage 1 is just year 1. Stage 2 is year 2 to 4, and stage 3 is the last 2 years. The last 2 years are more focused on like practical stuff. The first year is just more sciencey stuff, and the years 2 to 4 are theoretically focused, and we also have a lot of dissection anatomy stuff. So while dissecting, I needed a little bit more help because I have a problem reading like instructions from neurotypical people, just because they're so relative and I can't find like a specific answer. It's so like interpretable in different ways basically. And that's what I struggle with, or it's just not detailed enough for me. I have like support from uni, and I do have support from uni, and I actually got someone to help me. It's called a buddy, and that's in my case someone who's in a year over mine. Like he's basically done soon, and I'm in year 5 then. So, and he helps me with stuff like that. He also helps me with and he helps me. Do you hear that? And he helps me with stuff like that. He supports me when I try to communicate with the uni. He helps me try to interpret people and how I can best prepare for exams where I know that I have to work with a specific professor. I basically need to focus training and studying around that because not every professor is the same, obviously, and they have stricter rules or less strict rules, or they have easier rules, or they are like more focused on something else, and it's not that, and it's either very focused on numbers or not focused on numbers at all, but more on understanding the principle itself. You maybe know, and that's why it's not easy for me to just go to an exam and study for it like I think I should study. I need to know how the professors work and also what they want to hear and the way they want to hear it, because that's not easy. Because that's not... Okay. Because that's not easy. Okay. Everyone set? Yay. because that's not easy for me either. So year 3 is mainly focused on dissecting. In the second half of the year we also have like pharmaceutical stuff, but in year 3, but in the first semester it's mainly anatomy. So I kind of studied every week, and then we have like bigger tests every other week where I have to study more, and at the end there's a huge exam. There are also the kind of themes, like we call them blocks. They are focused on, for example, the kidney or women's health or children's health, stuff like that. We had those two. The thing is, dissecting isn't easy. You are focused on it quite a lot, and you have to study a lot. And you have to study a lot. So we don't really get a lot of information from the usual blocks. It's more the anatomy that sticks with you. That's unfortunate, but that's kind of how this year is built. Students say that all the time. The officials should know it, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but dissecting was fun too. That's a strange thing to say, I know that, but learning about the human body and how it's built can be quite exciting, and I like the crafty part of it too. You do have to learn how to cope with having a dead person in front of you. But surprisingly, that wasn't that bad. But surprisingly, that's not that hard. I remember the first day where I was so nervous, and everyone else was so nervous too. Nobody knew if he could do that, and a lot of people thought they wouldn't be able to. But we all made it, surprisingly. But we all made it, and we all learned to cope with it. I would say I had like a quite buddy-ish relationship. Like it's my buddy from up above, or whatever you are thinking, and he helps me and I respect the body. Yeah, that's the way I coped with it. When you are... So every week while dissecting, you have an exam focused around what you are doing. And there are tutors who are also students who are like testing you. And everybody is different, of course, and that's a hard thing for me, to not know who will test me next week, who will be the one I will have the exam with. So we actually decided on making... So I was able to get to know who will examine me the next week, the week before obviously, and that was a lot easier, and that made it a lot easier for me. I just got to know the people and how I need to communicate with them, because sometimes I have the answer, but I don't know what they want from me. So if they tell me after they say I didn't know it, I often been like, oh, that's what you wanted to hear. So by knowing who will be the one examining, I will have an exam with, I was able to be more relaxed and prepare myself better. Of course I need to know it basically, of course I need to know it in general, but it's how I will present the knowledge that I have. That's the thing we are talking about. Year 3 had a big exam at the end because it was also testing the stuff from the second semester of the second year. So that was a huge exam. I studied a lot, but I made it. And after that, the whole group with the tutors and the examiners and the people responsible for everything, we all went and had a huge party, and that was quite funny. You could talk to the tutors who were examining you and you learned how they are thinking about stuff and how they are struggling with med school, if they struggle, and what they like, and just get to know them at a different level and close this chapter really well. In the second semester of this year, we still had a dissection class, but this time first focused on a brain, where we were all working together to dissect the brain, to cut it into parts and learn where which structure is, and had an exam about that. And then this chapter was closed, which was different to all the other exams we had before in the section class. They were all cumulative, so you were tested the same thing, you were tested at the beginning, at the very end. And then we had a last dissection. Everyone got their last region that they will dissect. For me it was the bottom of your feet, this part. It's quite fiddly, but I like that. Actually, I got used to it because I always got I got used to that because I always got regions like that. I also got the palm. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into detail, just if you are if that thing is hard to you, but that was basically how the last dissection class went. Again, I was able to get that connection with the tutors and show that I actually know the stuff and that I was really interested in it. Some decided to get tutors themselves. They have to do a huge exam, then they have to work 1 semester for free basically, and then they will get paid for their job, the tutor stuff, after that. So it's actually very, very hard to get into it, and then you have to work for free for 1 semester. So it wasn't interesting to me because I do have my own home and I need to somehow pay the rent. So I wasn't able to do that, and I wasn't trying to compete so much with the others. I don't need that on top of the things I already have. Yeah, that was year 3 basically. We did have pharmaceutical stuff too. Different blocks, different topics. They went by kind of. I also struggle, of course, with the pharm profs, but I was able to communicate that and was able to communicate correctly with the people that examined me, the professors, at the end. So it went by not easy, but I wasn't so stressed about it. Then came year 4, no dissection anymore. The first half we had some interesting blocks. We had the neurological block. I really liked that. It was pain pharma that we had there, and I work besides uni in a hospital since 3/4 of a year by now. So I started in that semester, and I work in oncology there. So I knew So I knew something about pain management, and I was able to connect these parts, and that was pretty cool. I will talk about work in another video, in a different one. Yeah, but that connection and being able to actually work and learn about things that I am actually using made it easier for me, or more fun, basically. Yeah, it was amazing. Of course I struggled. I talked to my body a lot. I really struggle with like the information they give me from uni about when you can like... I really struggled with getting the information from the uni, and when you have to like... I have big trouble with registering me for stuff, because the communication is not, you get an email and it's not like officially known that well that in this week you have to register. The communication is about WhatsApp groups that I'm not able to follow so close like others because it's too overwhelming. And on one of 3 or 4 websites they will put the information, so that's always like... the information can be anywhere, basically. That's what my body needed to help me with a lot. Oh, it was so much in the that was so much in the 4th year, because you basically started with your diploma thesis. Some don't, you don't have to, you just have to do it and when you're done, before you are done with uni, like you just have to do it anywhere in those 6 years, or you have to like study longer just to finish it. So it's a good idea to start. And the 4th year, the 2nd semester, is not as crowded, so you do have time to prepare your diploma thesis and look for stuff and start and register it at the ethical department. They need to agree before you can actually do stuff, which I struggle, which was a topic for me. I am still communicating with them. They still want stuff from me. The last thing that was a problem was that the version wasn't correct for them, because I needed to upload the protocol I already had, but in a marked version, where I show what I added at the end. And the marked version I uploaded separately. Of course it was the version 8 or something with all the changes I did, but I marked stuff and then I uploaded it at version 1 because I already had the normal protocol at its like normal version, but they weren't happy with that, so I have to re-upload it in a different version. And I hadn't had time for that because I need to get in the mood and get the energy to do it, and I wasn't able to do that until now. I do have it on my to-do list since like 4 days, so I will get to it probably after this video. Hopefully after this video. I am communicating with them since like almost a year now. It's pretty hard for me. I heard that they are really focused on details, but I have never heard of so many changes that they had to do. And I actually had like kind of a pattern I needed to follow from a thesis from a paper that was accepted and was around a similar topic. So I created mine like that one, and they hated it, which is weird because they accepted it before in just a tiny different way, which confuses me still, but it is what it is, and I will try my best, of course. I will try my best. And then you are studying for an exam that's practical and consists of all the practical stuff you studied for in the last 3 years. And so how like to birth a child, what do you look at, how do you find a tumor in like a histological cut from where you look from where you look under the microscope and see cells, and you have to say, oh, these are tumor cells and these aren't tumor cells, and what is molecular biology and how is it helping here and stuff like that. I also had like to do CPR on a kid and on an adult patient and show that I am able to do that. So the exam is quite cool and important in my opinion, but the way that the exam is built is horrible. I'm still I do have like a very emotional reaction, I know, but it's built like that. You have 13 stations in one floor of a building where you have all those rooms, but you don't have 13 rules, but you don't have 13 rooms. Some exams are taken while another person has a different exam in the same room, which I fortunately was allowed to start at the very beginning, so the stations I needed to go to were empty, so I didn't have to listen to another person struggling besides me while I was taking the exam, which would have been horrible. But anyway, you have those 13 stations and you walk like straight path and then around it like that. And when you had an exam around here and the next one was around here, you needed to like run there, because you have 5 minutes per station to like tell everything about the like test you get and show them what you can do and how you do it. And then you have 1 minute to go to the next room with the next exam, and also you have to read and also you have to read what you are going to be tested for. So like everything about what you will have to tell, you need to read that in the 1 minute. You also have to go from this room to this room or something like that. It's very, very stressful, and if you struggle in any way, there's no way to make up for it. So like if you don't follow the strict pattern, maybe you like fainted because you were so nervous, or you weren't able to communicate, and during those 5 minutes you weren't able to really do an exam, you weren't really able to do the exam, then you failed. There's no way to repeat that. The system is so strict, it can only work that way, and there's no way to cope for anything that can happen. And that seems very unpractical. It's very unfair in my opinion, especially for disabled people, because we don't go that smooth around stuff. There are always struggles for us. If it be for me reading the like topic and what I have to do, and like struggling with understanding it correctly, I have no way to cope for that or to ask for that. That's not possible. I need to do it in that time, and that 13 times, and I wasn't able to make it to all the 13 times. I just failed one of them. I failed. The professor wasn't the nicest because I misread something in the description, and he didn't tell me, and so I was kind of wrong during what I told him afterwards. But I didn't know some stuff, so I failed, and that's okay. And then I went into the next room, and there I had a professor where I wasn't able to finish a sentence, because if something in the first words that I was saying wasn't correct or was a little bit out of the correct answer, he stopped me and walked to the next thing. And I never had a bad trip, but it was what I thought would be a bad trip, honestly. Like, it was so strange. I wasn't able to finish anything. I was starting words and jumping, and he held like the paper with the description in front of my eyes, and I was just trying to do something, and oh my god, and I wasn't able to breathe, and at some point I screamed, I don't know what you want from me. It was, and I think it's unfair that I had to repeat it again, because the thing is, you are not able to repeat it the next week or something like that. You have to wait for 2 months. The whole summer I was thinking about that exam, and if I can make up those 2 stations and I'm able to start the next year, or if I have to like wait for 1 year. Of course it were 2 stations and I was able to make it, and in the end I had the exam yesterday, but it has ruined my summer a little bit because I was always thinking about it. Yeah, that's basically the last 2 years. Next year I will have more practical stuff. I will have the same time like theory, and then I will work in a hospital. I'm really excited for it. I don't know how it really works. I still don't know how it will really work. I have to talk to my body. We will talk about it in the next few days, so I know what they are actually talking about, because of course I'm not having an easy time reading what they want from me or how this will work. But that's what I have my body for, and yeah, I'm very excited and I'm happy that I made it and that I'm done with like the whole second stage and transitioning into the last stage, and maybe in 2 years, and hopefully in 2 years I will be done and I will talk about how it is to be a first year doctor. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. I hope this helped. I will conclude. I will take some time and talk about what I got this year and what helped me these years, from like supportment from the uni, yeah, and the rest. And if you don't want to hear that, then I'm done, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, so basically, number 1, the body. That person from a different or the same year studying with you, that's helping you with exams, how to prepare for them. You are not allowed to like have them during your exam, it's still the same, but preparing and communicating, a person you can talk to if you need anything, that's with you if you need them, of course without helping you, but you know, just their presence. They are also communicating with the rest of the staff that's supporting disabled people, which helped me a lot, because it wasn't that easy for me either. My body knows a lot of neurodivergent people, so he actually knows what I mean easier than everyone else, so that's quite great and I'm really happy for it. Nathan, if you watched that video, thank you so much, you are amazing. Then I had help with the tutors. I just knew who will be the one examining me, if that's the correct grammar. I just knew the one I will have to test with, and I got to know them, and they knew that I sometimes have problems communicating, and we were able to talk about it in a different way, and I was able to show them that I actually know the information basically. Then if I failed something or if I was sick, they helped me communicate with the professors and find a way how I can show them that I studied that and I made up for the time I wasn't there basically. Yeah, and then I just had someone to talk about how things will work and how the people are, how the professors are, and just get to know the things I will be confronted with, which helped a lot. I hope I told you, I hope I mentioned everything. I'm pretty sure I did. Basically, if you have any questions, you know, drop them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to talk about the things I get to help me with uni, and maybe I can help you find ways for you too. So with that, I say bye bye, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.